Hello! Alright, so basically in this video, I'm going to go over a very easy concept. Okay? In my Algebra 2 class last year, I was very surprised how many students could not figure out how to do something like this. Okay? So I want to make sure that you guys know how to do this. Okay? So let's say, so the prompt says find the zeros of x plus 4 times x minus 10 equals 0. Okay, zeros are basically your x-intercepts of a function. In other words, what we're doing here is we are just solving for x. Okay, so all we're doing is solving for x. Okay, so just as a recap, I don't know if you remember, one of the first days in class, I asked you, what is 0 times x? 0 times anything is going to be 0. So what this implies is if I have 0 times x minus 10, this is going to be 0 because 0 times anything is 0. If I had x plus 4 times 0, right? So basically anything times 0 is going to be 0. Okay? So keep that in the back of your mind. I'm going to erase this. Okay? So what we're going to do then is we need to solve for x. Okay? So like I said earlier, if this piece is 0, 0 times anything is going to be 0. And this will be a true statement. So let's make x plus 4 equals 0. I hope that you guys are able to solve something like this. This is very embarrassing if you cannot solve something like this. Okay? Now, what I see what we can do is we can subtract 4 both sides. So we have x equals negative 4. Okay? Now what I see we can do for this, we have two possible answers, you see? So if I set this equal to 0, right, x plus 4 times 0 is going to be 0. Okay, right? So that's also true statement because if this is 0, 0 times anything is going to be 0. Okay, so we have x minus 10 equals 0. Okay, now if we were to solve for x, which I'm hoping you guys can do at this point, you are going to add 10 to both sides. Cancel this out. You get x equals 10. This is not very hard. Okay, so I'm going to show you another example. So I'm going to just erase this here. Okay, so let's say I want to find the zeros of 2 times x minus 6 times x plus 8 equals 0. Okay, so what we would do is, well, what I see here is if I divide by 2, right? If I divide this whole expression by 2, well, 2 is going to be gone. 0 divided by 2 is 0. So we have x minus 6 times x plus 8 equals 0. So just like I showed you earlier, set this piece equal to 0. So what we're going to have is x minus 6 equals 0. Add 6 to both sides, and we get x equals 6. Take this piece, set it equal to 0. We have x plus 8 equals 0. Subtract 8 on both sides, and then we get x equals negative 8. So those are our two possible answers that we could have. Those are our zeros of this function. Okay, so I'm going to clear this as well. All right, so let's say we have something like this. We have 2x plus 3 times x minus 9 equals 0. All right, so like I showed you earlier, like when you have to use the x method on certain trinomials where a is not equal to 1, right? You might get a factored form that looks like this. And eventually what I'm going to have to show you is you're going to have to solve for x for those particular cases. So like I showed you earlier, set this piece equal to 0. So we have, so we have 2x plus 3 equals 0. Subtract 3 to both sides. 2x equals negative 3. Divide by 2. 2's cancel out. X equals negative 3 halves. That's 1. Set this piece equal to 0. We have x minus 9 equals 0. Add 9 to both sides. We have x equals 9. That is our other 0. This is not very hard. Okay? So, I am going to clear the screen. Clear the screen. Let's say I have 5x minus 2 times x plus 4 equals 0. Alright, so what we have here is we are going to set this piece equal to 0. We have 5x minus 2 equals 0. So add 2 to both sides, cancels out. 5x equals 2. Divide by 5 on both sides. 5 cancels out. X equals 2 fifths. Next, we take this expression. So we take that expression, x plus 4 equals 0. Subtract 4 to both sides, cancels out. We get x equals negative 4. That is our other 0 of this function. Okay? That is how you would do this. Please do not disappoint me. I'll be very sad if you get this wrong, and I know some of you will get this wrong, unfortunately. Okay? That's it for this video. Okay, bye.